3, 2, 1. Here we are.
Captain's quarters as usual.
Yes.
We're still dealing with the 2020 election. We kind of called that. It wasn't going to be over for a while.
It's a week to the day, I believe,
Yep,
right? Today's
exactly.
Tuesday,
So 1
Tuesday.
week later, we've reconvened. And as always, Doom Nation, welcome back. It's me and Skaggs in the Captain's quarters. And as always, check us out on YouTube at Two Doomed Men. And make sure you subscribe. Little button in the right-hand corner. And I'll do my spiel at the end. Let's fly into this because it's been an interesting, stressful, infuriating, weird week.
So if anybody's not aware, the media has declared Joe Biden president-elect.
Yep. And
if you didn't think we were going to go into this in depth, you were wrong.
yeah, just to be clear, Joe Biden is not the president. It's weird. This is like a little issue that like I've been having. We'll get into it throughout the night, I'm sure, but like only the media has declared Joe Biden the president.
Right. You say Joe Biden is not the president. Obviously, Donald Trump is still the president, but Joe Biden is not actually really even president-elect yet.
Exactly.
Right.
There's been no state or federal agency or court or anything that has declared him the winner. Now, unfortunately, the one place I dropped the ball, and I didn't think about this until I was driving home, was I wonder how long before, like, in the 2016 election with, like, Hillary and Trump, did, like, a federal court or, you know what I mean, or, like, a state declare Trump to be president-elect.
Yeah. I'm sure it was a significant period of time after. I could look it up also. But in that situation, and here's what I would want to get into. In that situation in 2016, it didn't matter because Hillary had conceded because she knew the writing was on the wall. It lost.
Yeah.
One thing that this election has taught me is that the process is stupid. Look, I still think Joe Biden is going to win, and he's going to be the president, as I said during our live coverage. However, why does the media get to say when someone won and who won?
Exactly.
The media is not an official entity of the government.
Official anything.
They're just private citizens. And as we have documented, as everybody fucking knows,
They're
all
liars.
of the media, yes, they lie. They're also very biased. Every single mainstream media organization is biased. Fox is very biased towards conservative, although that was
blown out of the water last week.
Yeah, that was weird. And obviously all the other news, CNN, etc., all very biased towards Democrats and liberals.
Yeah.
So of course they're going to push they're going to want. They couldn't wait to declare Joe Biden the winner. And I'm not saying he's not going to win. Or I'm not even trying to take any sides. I'm just saying, why is it that they get to say who wins? There should be like a court or a judge, or when all of the 100% is in on every state, it's 100% finished. There should be some official apolitical decision or proclamation by a judge. Maybe that makes the most sense in my mind for no reason, that says this is the person who won. So it doesn't matter if the other person conceded or not. We never saw this before because most of the time it's very clear and the other person concedes. The only thing close to this was in 2000 where I just recently learned it actually took about 46 days for them to sort that out.
I think in total, like in court, it was like 37 days or something like that. Yeah.
So it took time. We're not anywhere there yet. We're only a week in here.
But also at the same time too, like for the media to just say Biden's the president, if there was no recounts, if there was no investigations, and they said Biden won, I'm willing to accept that. And now that, like, I'm pretty sure a lot of this is going to court. I know Trump has several state and federal lawsuits set up. Georgia already announced that they're going to do a recount. Pretty sure Arizona and I think Arizona, Georgia, and maybe like Michigan or something. I think their 1% recount is eventually going to kick in.
Right. As long as you're within 1%. You can get a recount just right off the bat.
Right. Election law. It doesn't. This is not Trump pushing it. This is not Biden pushing it. And I tried telling this to people, like any normal politician whose goal it is to win is going to ask for these recounts. And for the media to just come out and be Biden won when there's several recounts. If there was no recounts and no lawsuits, fine, Biden won.
Right.
If all these recounts come up, Biden wins, and all these court cases get settled, and they get settled in Biden's favor, sucks to be me, but Biden wins. But until then, the media's got to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, the reality of the situation is that this is a contested election, and there is not a 100% official determined winner yet, right? the media wouldn't let you believe that. Everybody believes that Biden has won, and Biden has himself now said that he's won.
Yep.
At the same time, Trump on the election night said that he won. That was wrong also. You know, and it just...
He's still tweeting that he's going to win.
This is the way we live now.
Yeah.
Reality doesn't make sense or doesn't apply anymore. It's people just make up their own shit, and that's what it is. Yeah. On top of that, it wasn't until, I believe, Saturday that the media declared Biden the winner. And I was talking before, they're very biased, right? And they're influenced by people. There was a lot of pressure from Democrats, from like left-wing talking people on Twitter, on the networks themselves, over what is taking so long. Why haven't they why haven't they announced Biden the winner yet? So there you go. They are pressuring the media to say it, and the media for this, held off a few days. I was surprised. Fox News was weird, right?
Yeah.
I'm surprised that
Fox News was very weird.
I'm surprised that they declared Biden president-elect also, but in terms of them, I'm thinking maybe they're hedging their bet. Like, we're going to have to deal with this guy being president in the next 4 years. We better not start off on the wrong foot with them.
Very possible. It's so bizarre, and they keep pushing this, So for me, it's all a big conspiracy anyway, because this is, I mean, the media rushed to declare Biden president, and now they're just pushing this whole agenda that Trump won't concede, Trump won't allow the transition to take place. But the election's not over.
Yeah.
And to all the people who are, breathing that, fresh breath of relief and, so happy that Biden is, the president-elect and Trump just needs to quit, you guys are all going to be the same people that and I'm not saying anything will be overturned, but you're all going to be the same people screaming fraud and that he's cheating and that, the same thing that all these angry Republicans are saying, that there's been fraud throughout this election. If this gets overturned for Trump, you're going to completely switch sides and you're going to go right into bitching and moaning the same thing and probably rioting as well.
Yeah, and that shows you where we're at and how hypocritical people will be. Was there really this level of fraud that Trump is claiming? I don't know. But like you're saying, if this goes to court, if there's investigations and it shows that there was a certain amount of fraud or the rules weren't followed properly, or those computer programs reverse things too much, and that indeed did tilt the outcome of the election to Biden, and then it ends up coming out, no, it's actually Trump who won. Yes, every single Democrat or liberal mark it down are going to say that Trump stole the election, which is what Trump is saying right now about the Democrats.
And everybody's telling Trump to shut up and just concede.
I kind of hope this happens just to watch, because we just called it, and we're going to watch the whole narrative flip on its head all over again, and everyone's going to take the opposing point of view.
And the media has been saying Biden's the president-elect. Trump is destroying America because he's dividing us, because he won't let, Biden, he won't give the peaceful transition of power. And the second anything goes in Trump's favor, the media is going to be playing the purge music just to sound the alarms. And, Saks Fifth Ave is going to be lit on fire.
Yeah, they already took down the plywood and stuff.
Yeah,
so
but funny enough, I think somewhere in, like Indianapolis or somewhere, they're actually putting the boards back up.
Are they?
Because they're like, I don't think this is over yet. Like, we better be ready.
Probably a pretty smart decision, honestly.
Yeah. But you know what? There's 71 million angry Republicans right now, and not a single target has been looted. So
it's a valid point. And there was a little unrest the day of the election that was going on. It seems to have subsided for now. But you're right. You said this to me before. Go ahead. What did you say to me before about the Proud Boys?
Oh, yeah. The Proud Boys were made out to be the next KKK hate group, and that Trump told them to stand. What did he say? Stand by and stand ready.
Stand down and stand by.
Yeah, something like that. Okay, so if Biden's really the president-elect, why aren't the Proud Boys in the streets slaughtering people, racially profiling? Mind you, the Proud Boys is leader is a guy from Cuba, but that doesn't matter to the media anymore. It's just white nationalism.
Yeah.
So,
and I put up on the Instagram today, if you guys have any questions ask us. The only question we got
was the KKK?
Was from our boy the Doc, who asked, "Where's the KKK?" I mean, there was nothing else beside this question, but he's right. People were making it out to seem like there was going to be this massive violence from the right wing if it seemed like the election has been stolen from Trump, right? Which in Trump people's minds, they believe it has been stolen from them. But I have not seen this violent outpour or or anything from them. So that was total fear-mongering,
Yeah.
made-up bullshit from the left.
And I could promise you that if anything gets overturned, these Democratic cities will burn.
Remains to be seen, but I'm going to agree with you probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
I'm calling it. So let's get into our notes here, man.
Yeah, so I wanted to start off with, you know, I do think that Biden is going to be the president, so I'm not going to wait. I'm going to start calling him to account right now. And I suggest that everyone listening to this goes to Biden's website. He's already declared himself president-elect, so let's go with that. You should go to Biden's website. It is www.buildbackbetter.com. And I'm going to let the cap rip on this because I know he already has his list of shit here.
I only went through a little. I can only sit through so much. Real briefly,
there's only 4 issues and agendas that he listed so far, and everything in it is very generalized, no nuance
bullet
for
points.
the most part, and bullet points. At the same time, it's early. I get it. He's not actually the president yet. The whole thing is contested, but we have been criticizing him a lot for the fact that his entire political campaign seemed to be vote for me because I'm not Trump and the orange guy is bad. So far, the first thing he puts out lends me to believe that that is still the case. Yeah. He doesn't have much going behind it. Maybe things will change, but go ahead. I'll go into my parts, but you go into your part.
So the main part that I was actually able to sit through was the COVID part. And in reading this, there's no substance to it. It leaves me with more like questions than anything. Like, so the first line I believe was all Americans should have regular, reliable, free testing. Don't we already have this? I mean, like, listen, I had to get tested recently, and I ran into some stupid roadblocks, and you know. It really, some of this stuff doesn't make sense. I went to one doctor's office and they said, oh, we've reached the amount of people we could test for today. Then I went to another doctor's office and they were like, well, do you have any symptoms? I was like, no, but, you know, I've been in contact. You know, I need this for work. I live with the elderly. And they're like, yeah, it sucks to be you. Like, and I once again had to lie and say I was coughing and had a fever to get tested. But I feel like our numbers are higher because of the amount of testing we do. There's nonstop testing throughout the country. Now I can't speak for these little, you know, no-name towns in the Midwest or anything. If you could just go to any doctor and get testing over there, but you know, his big plan is to have more testing. We have a ton of testing. Like,
wow, I mean, I could have came up with that plan too. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, my criticism was, okay, how are you going to do that? Yeah. Where's your details? Because I could have also wrote this website and just put very generalized statements and said, look, I'm going to be president. This is my plan.
And on top of it, I'm sure if you look at Trump's plan for COVID, it's probably the same guidelines.
Yeah, maybe. Then with COVID, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Then the next one was next gen testing. I'm completely fine with this. If there's a new way of testing, cool. But once again, what is this next-gen testing? Who are you working with to get this next-gen testing? Have you started anything on next-gen testing? Are we going to get next-gen testing in 2021, 2022? Or maybe when, you know, Kamala Harris is taking over the presidency? We don't know. Then my favorite one, which is such a great media Democratic talking point, was fix PPE. Didn't Trump already do that by making sure America built its own ventilators?
Yeah. Well, PPE is like personal protective equipment, right? Yeah. Meaning like gowns, stuff like that,
right?
Masks, goggles.
So is this still actually a problem? Because if Biden's going to become president, we do need to hold him accountable.
Yes, and we will.
And you could only take for so long, I'm not the mean orange man. So you need to come up with some consistency here.
Right.
Because from all the nurses that I know, you know, PPE isn't really scarce anymore. Since COVID started, when COVID first kicked off, yes, there was an issue. But since that kind of got fixed, I haven't heard a single issue about it.
I haven't really either. I mean, maybe we're wrong. I haven't done a deep dive into that, but
I mean, we know police officers, firefighters, nurses, doctors, and none of them are complaining about PPE. So yet, here's another just 4 a.m. talking point on fucking Biden's website.
And hey, if we're wrong and you're a nurse or a doctor, comment, shout us out, because I haven't heard anything, and we do know a couple of nurses and whatnot about PPE being short.
And then, so my next point was for a side note where I just started going on a rant. So as the media has taken us down this insane political path, I won't even blame Trump or Biden anymore. The media is really the divisive, virus in here.
And social media.
Yeah. So we rushed to defund the police. That was a disaster. And you could look at, Minnesota or Minneapolis, where they're actually Minneapolis, where they defunded the police so badly they might need to bus in police from other counties so they could fucking help with the crime wave. Really got completely out of control. And several Democrats who lost their seats in either the Senate or the House said the biggest drawback was being in favor of defunding the police.
What a surprise. People don't want their neighborhoods being destroyed.
Yeah. We rushed to start the idea of the mail-in ballots. Did that really work out? Was it really worth just going against Trump because he didn't want the mail-in ballots and it was the Democratic view to how we're going to vote? This whole mess could have been avoided.
Could have been. It could have been better implemented. Yeah. The reason why the reason why they pushed the mail-in ballots is because people were saying that's too dangerous because of COVID in order to go out and vote. A lot of people went out and voted in person, number one. It wasn't too dangerous. We've said it before, if I could go to Walmart, how come I can't go out and vote? Yep. On top of that, on Saturday, when Biden was announced president-elect, there was parties and huge gatherings in the streets of thousands of people, and they were in close proximity. So the same people who were saying COVID is a reason why we need to do mail-in ballots because it's too dangerous, and that's a justification, then could just go have a party in the street, and that wasn't too dangerous.
Yep. And on top of it, on Election Day a week ago, look it up, the CDC said it's okay to break quarantine to go vote. So there's all for nothing.
Even if you are sick with COVID, 100% proven. That's fucking crazy.
Look at that. So then keep it going. We rushed to impeach Trump. That was a failure. You guys tried nailing him over a 3-minute phone call, and it went nowhere. And it goes on and on. With all the issues that we are seeing, is it really smart to rush to say Biden is the president-elect?
No.
Like, we have now...
It's only going to compound problems.
Yes, we have now seen several failures in attempting to rush things just because Orange Man is bad. If anything, the Democrats should have learned their lesson by now and think maybe if we pull back on the reins and not try to just shit down everybody's throat, it might not blow up in our face this time.
Here's what the Democrats should do. Let the process play out, right? But because if they just let the process play out, let these lawsuits happen, let these investigations happen, they should want the investigations to happen, shouldn't they? Because they should want it to be proven that there was no fraud or no funny business, right? And then if that's the case and it's proven and Trump is still being a little baby about, this, that, there's fraud, this, that, whatever, like, no,
bro. I agree with the Democrats.
You lost. Like, it's been, you lost. It's been proven. It's time to now step back and get out of the way. They should want that. But the fact that they seem to want to just, no, there's got to be unity, which that's a joke, right?
Dan Crenshaw put it the best. Read his Twitter page.
There's got to be unity, and we just got to unite behind Biden and keep moving forward. They just want to push it forward, push it forward, and get it over with. No, relax. Take a step back. We got until January 20th. Let the process play out. Let Trump be proven wrong. And I will be there pointing and laughing at him for being an idiot about it.
Yeah, I would much rather accept a Biden victory if the Democrats proved Trump wrong. It's that simple. And, with all the shit that we've seen so far with the observers in the polling stations, all the Republicans got removed from the PA polling stations.
There was a lot of suspicious things. Michael said it wasn't.
All the computer glitches in Michigan, and the same programs ran within like 30 states of these glitches that give thousands of votes from to Biden and shit. Like, if these reports are coming out and you want to rush to make Biden the president, then let's prove that these were just actual computer glitches and there was nothing malice about them.
And Orange Man's being ridiculous.
Yeah.
Let's prove that.
But this is just living in that alternate reality where logic doesn't apply to anything.
And like we said before, if it so happens that it's going to be proven in court by investigators that there was bullshit and it should be Trump who won, these same people are going to completely. Then they're going to take Trump's position, and Trump is going to take their position. It's going to be the complete opposite. We just need to watch what happens. That's it. Just sit back and watch. Don't do anything. Don't say anything. Don't try and force an outcome. Just let it happen.
Technically, we're the only two people calling for unity right now, because let's just see it play out.
There's other people.
No, I know that. But by rushing to say Biden is president-elect, and for all of his sheep to fall in line and believe this, they're potentially setting up everyone for failure, and it's just going to turn into anger and rage.
Yes.
And then the violence is going to come, and then guess who's going to get blamed for it?
Yeah, Orange Man bad.
And by the way, if anyone can explain to me how Democrats burning down Democratic ran cities is by any means Trump's doing, please explain that to me in great detail, because I still can't understand how it could be his fault.
If Hillary had won in 2016, the same problems we have with communities and the minority communities and police would have existed with Hillary as president, but it wouldn't have been magnified and blamed on Hillary. It wouldn't have, right?
No.
And that would have never have happened, because everything would have been okay. It'd have been business as usual, and that's where we're heading, by the way, with Biden as president. It's going to be the same problems, and we're going to get into that in a little bit. That these communities have faced forever, but because now we got our guy in there, now everything is okay, when it's really not.
Yeah. Should I keep going, or do you want to get into your next bits?
Yeah, let me say that the 4 topics, I don't think I said this before, the 4 topics on Biden's website are COVID-19, the economy, climate change, and racial equity. Those are the 4 main topics. So as of right now, your next president is saying, I only have 4 issues I'm concerned about. No foreign relations, no infrastructure.
Well, it's okay with foreign relations because China owns Biden, so he's got that covered. And it's kind of funny to think that for the past 4 years, Trump's ruined America, and the new guy only has 4 issues to fix.
Yes. That's a good point. I didn't even think of that. Yeah. Let me go on to the racial equity portion of this, right? A weird line, racial equity, right? Most of the time people hear about racial equality, right? I'm equal to you. No one's better than everybody's born as equals. Everybody should be treated as equals in America. Equity is not the same as equality, right? So I looked up what is equity versus equality, right? Equity involves trying to understand and give people what they need to enjoy full, healthy lives. Equality, in contrast, aims to ensure that everyone gets the same things in order to enjoy full, healthy lives. Like equity, equality aims to promote fairness and justice, but it can only work if everyone starts from the same place and needs the same things. What that means is that equity is essentially communism, right? Equity means everyone is going to be given everything to start at the same exact place, as opposed to be giving the opportunity to do so. We're going to literally be handed you. I'm a white guy and my friend is a black guy, and I'm going to give both of you money the moment you're born. Just in the stupidest layman terms I could possibly make this out to be, and that's how we're going to achieve equality. That has never worked in the history of human beings, ever. If anything, that just causes further division and strife between people, and just doesn't work. It hasn't worked in the Soviet Union. It's not working in China because they're really a capitalist dictatorship. Yeah. They just call themselves communist. North Korea is an absolute shithole. And
Venezuela kind of fell apart with it.
So that needs more clarification.
Yeah, and so if so that's just the definition of equity and equality. Now, racial equity. So now how do we measure that these minority communities now get everything equal?
It's a messy situation.
Does everybody get a 3-bedroom house and $100,000 job and a Beamer? I mean, how? And does this mean now that only how can I put this without becoming extremely terrible? Now, if we go into these minority neighborhoods and give them all the same starting point, that still kind of doesn't fix anything because I'm not at the same starting point either. You know what I mean? Like, I might have a better opportunity or I might have a worse opportunity. I'm not saying I'm better than anyone else, but if you're only doing this based on race, then it's still not, there's still no equality or anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would have to be like this mass reset.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's just a weird way to put this. And if you, like I said before, there's not a lot of nuance here, but this is weird that they chose to use this term over equality. It's just very weird. It's
fishy. It's fishy.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the best way to put it.
This must be one of Kamala Harris's socialist ideas.
I'm not against like investing in minority communities or African American communities, places that have been fucked up over time and they're like stuck with that black cloud over them and they can't get out of it. I'm one of the people that's always saying on this podcast like we should do something,
break the ground,
right? So what I did was printed out the racial equity from Biden's website. And I'm going to put this all up on the screen. And I also printed out the Platinum Plan of Trump's plan to help the African-American communities.
Who now Lil Wayne and Ice-T both support.
Yes.
And Lil Wayne's girl left him over this, so clearly she read it.
I want to do a quick comparison here. First of all, my opinion is the Platinum Plan has way more detail of how they're going to actually get to the brick and mortar of helping these communities as opposed to the racial equity of Biden's. Then again, it's still early. Maybe he'll have more. But Biden is okay. So let's go to racial equity. Right? It says the Biden-Harris administration will spur private public investment through a new small business opportunity plan. Yay! No detail. Reform opportunity zones to fulfill their promise. No detail. Make a historic commitment to equalizing federal procurement. Whatever the fuck that means.
They just wanted to be. We're going to make a historic change.
I don't want to read all of these. Ensure workers of color are compensated fairly and treated with dignity. How? How are you... Like, yes, that's a great statement, and I 100% believe in that and agree with that. But that's just... I wrote you a poem here because I'm President Biden, and this sounds very nice. And, black people, if you don't vote for me, then you're not black. This doesn't tell me how I'm going to achieve any of these goals, which I want these goals to be achieved, right? I hope that somehow, if Biden becomes president, he does manage to achieve this. But you're going to be the president, bro. You need to be more detailed and tell me what I'm doing, especially when you just told me to vote for you because the other guy was the worst.
Yeah.
Go look at the other guy, the racist guy's plan, right? It has 4 pillars: opportunity, security, prosperity, fairness. Not much detail there, right? However, they are going to invest $500 billion in creating 3 million new jobs for the black community, creating 500,000 new black-owned businesses, increase access to capital in black communities by over $500 billion, and so on, and so on, and so on, right? So what Trump is telling you is, I'm going to allocate this much money, and this much money, you're going to be able to do this with it, that with it, and those things will improve your community. Getting access to capital in terms of $500 billion in the black community is going to be able to let you start a business and, pick yourself up out of poverty and improve your neighborhood. There's, in my opinion, this is like concrete information over how
there's actually money.
There's actually
allocated.
Numbers, first of all, right? There's going to be money allocated, and it's like, what is this money going to be for? This is what it's going to be for. This is what you could use it for, and this is how it will improve your situation, as opposed to a poem of niceness here.
See, that's this is where people, if you ever heard of the term, and I don't mean this in a racist way, walk away from the plantation or escape the plantation. The Democrats have been lying to the black community for decades, eons and eons and eons now. And the Republican Party has not been any better. But at least here's Trump putting forth a large sum of money to let the people of the community fix their community, and not this, we're going to make a historic change bullshit. A lot of people won't accept it, but What happened to Ice Cube, when he spoke to Biden or the DNC and when he spoke to Trump was the very telling hand of the Democratic Party. We'll get back to you after the election. All right, you want to make some changes? Let's sit down and work on some changes.
Here's what they got back with.
Yeah.
Rainbow poems.
I bet you Ice Cube is extremely happy with that plan that Biden wrote out. Don't you think?
And like I said, this sounds amazing.
Yeah,
if I had a magic wand, I would wish, or if I had a wish, I'd wish that all of these things happened. Actually, I wouldn't even wish that all these things happened. I just wish that everyone's situation was immediately better. That would make more sense than this. You know what I mean?
Magic.
Like, yeah. Ice Cube, to where you're saying before, Ice Cube's point was, I don't give a fuck who I got to work with, what I got to do. I'm just trying to make people's lives better. And that's exactly the kind of mindset that we need in terms of leadership. Fucking Ice Cube should have ran for president.
And isn't it funny that here's Trump saying, I'm going to give you what you need to build yourself up.
Right.
So, we'll call it capitalist, but everyone gets the opportunity to soar sky high and become a millionaire. Joe Biden's equity, we all start at the same place.
Right. We all start at the same place as communism. No one starts at the same place in capitalism. I'm not talking about white people are better than black people. That sort of start at the same place. I'm talking about economically, right? You're born and your family has more money than another family. You don't start at the same place because that's how capitalism works. Yeah. If we don't like capitalism, fine, right? Fine, whatever. I'm a Bernie Sanders guy. I believe in more socialist policies, right? But you can't. This is fucking communism, and they're dressing it up as capitalism. Yeah. Basically, and it's all just fake shit.
Yeah. This is why I read most of his website, but this is why I only have notes on COVID because I couldn't even get through this shit. So another thing that I had a nice little thing that I found out. So have you seen Joe Biden talking lately? Any of his little speeches?
Really. I didn't personally know.
So watch out for when Joe Biden talks. There's usually a sign behind him or a little plaque on the podium that says, what's the exact term? Says the office of the president-elect. I looked this up. I Googled it. I Binged it. I did my research. There is no such office as the office of the president-elect. This guy is a phony through and through. They are making up their own offices just to make him look like he's more official. Right. This is ludicrous. You got a nothing website. Yep. You got, compared to the Platinum Plan, his equity shit is nonsense. His fucking COVID program and idea is no different than what we're currently doing right now. And now he's made up a fake office.
Yeah, I actually added to what you said here in the highlighted there. The Trump Transition Office, which exists, has not yet sent. There's an actual legal document that when a new president wins, the sitting president has to sign this document, send it to the new president, signs it, and then it makes it official that we are in the process of transition. Yeah. It has to do with like security briefings and clearances and starting to work together.
So basically,
that document has not been sent yet. Number one, because Trump is still contesting the election. Number two, his ass is petty. He ain't going to send that to the last second, probably, regardless. So you're right. There's no such. It's just trying to sound like I am now, working. Biden's trying to make it sound like he's the president now, kind of, in a way.
That he has this office and power. Even, let's be clear, people. I get it. There is this deep hatred for Trump. He has lived inside your heads and in your hearts for 4 years and eaten away at the fabric of your being. And it's pretty pathetic that you let this fucking weird orange guy do this to you, but so be it. Even if this was an uncontested election, even if there was no fraud, even if everything was on the up and up and it just so happened that Biden won and Trump lost, even if they started the transition in between the two presidents, Biden has zip, nada, nothing until January 20th. Once he's inaugurated, he can walk in that Oval Office and sign whatever executive order he wants. But I don't care if he's got the office of the president-elect, anything. There is no... He has as much power as the two of us do right now.
Yeah.
And that ain't a lot.
The only way he'd have any power is if the current president allowed himself, like if Trump was willing to work with Biden and say, listen, I'm coming out, you're coming in, tell me things you want to do. You could influence me, I'll work to make things easier for you when you come in. I'll get started on some things that you want to do now. And that's really not any power to begin with. It's just the sitting president is allowing the next guy to consult with him.
Yep.
So you're right. He has no official power as of yet. When he becomes
even
president,
if this wasn't officially, even if the election was officially
right. Even
over.
if Trump had signed over the transition document, no, he would not have any power. Let's partly listen to the next point here over how hypocritical, like the FBI investigation of General Flynn and somebody you talk about all the time.
Judge Sullivan, you need to
just
be
like
disbarred.
Just the way, they've treated Trump. Again, here I go. I have to defend Trump here because of how hypocritical everything is. So, I posted this, I believe. Ben Rhodes, who's a former Obama official, admitted that the Biden camp is already working with foreign leaders, like on policy and things that they're gonna do when Biden comes into office. This is exactly what Michael Flynn did for Trump in 2016 when the Trump team was officially in transition. And the FBI investigated General Flynn under the Logan Act for possible crime for talking to Russia about foreign policy, which, again, is exactly what the Biden team is apparently doing with other countries right now. So,
mind you, Hunter Biden has direct contact with the Ukraine and Russia and China and Iran and Kazakhstan, wherever the fuck Borat's from. So,
but that has nothing to do with this. I know what you're saying, but this is literally because a Democrat's doing it, it's okay, and because a Republican guy did it before, it's not okay. And we cannot have this fucking bipartisanship in like the FBI and the agencies and whatnot that they're even playing politics now, and they're gonna
they've been weaponized.
They've been weaponized. They're gonna choose certain statutes and go after certain guys and not other guys. That's not how everything is so fucking bipartisan. It can't be this way, man. Things need to just happen the way they should.
Yeah, the insane issue that's going to take place now is the people will calm down. The media will be quiet. The media won't be covering every move Biden makes. But there's going to be people like us, too.
I would say, who will. We will.
But, now we're going to get in. If Biden wins, we're going to get into this crazy territory where every Trump supporter, everybody who has been hurt and harmed and defamed and demoralized through these past 4 years, through the media, through the Democratic Party, all this stuff. Now, anytime Biden does something that, they jumped all over Trump for, everybody's going to jump all over Biden. And, well, the Republicans and people like us will jump all over Biden because it's just going to be hypocritical. You can't scream bloody murder at one guy for 4 years for I don't know, drinking his beer with his left hand, and then when the new guy comes in, he drinks his beer with his left hand, and you think it's the coolest thing in the world. It's not going to help anything. If you're going to become the next president, you need to be different. You need to be better. You can't be doing the same thing Trump was doing and then just getting off scot-free, because then it doesn't work. And, to be perfectly honest with you, the only way I think like Trump is going to be able to get out of the White House is if they kill him. Because I can't see how, with what Trump knows, if Trump knows anything, we'll talk like aliens or some secret government organization or whatever. They're not going to let Trump walk with this information. He would be more dangerous as an ex-president than a real. If he had nothing to lose.
Imagine, I heard this point before. Imagine if Trump loses, he comes out of office. Now, what's he going to do? Imagine if Trump starts his own news network, right? The Trump News Network, and how the fuck are they going to censor that?
Yeah,
he's not going to censor himself.
Yeah,
unless Verizon
makes his own
and
social
AT&T
media platform,
shut down the internet on him, but makes his own social media platform, makes his own news channel, cable news channel.
We'll have him on Two Doom Men and an orange guy.
Not a bad idea. That'd be interesting.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, we'd have to do our research for that one and trying to get him to actually give us some nuance.
Do you think he'd be able to fit back here when he stands with his chest out and his ass out?
We'd probably have to get another camera and do a different angle here. Maybe sit him across from us. Yeah, man.
He's not going to let it slide either. If Biden starts doing stuff that they hung him for, he'll be screaming about it at the high heavens.
I hope it just goes away.
I doubt it. I don't think. I think the day he dies is the day he'll go
away. Let everybody else do that stuff. Yeah. You go away. He was too divisive. We had a friend say, "Oh, well, he could come back and run again for president in 4 years." Are you out of your fucking mind? I know Trump has a very loyal base, and people love him as much as some people are, just completely ridiculous how much they hate them. There's people that are just completely ridiculous how much they love him. Yep. But let's be real.
Hanging pictures of
if he's out
in their kitchen.
In 4 years, can we get someone better?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If Biden's still alive by then, or even worse, if Harris is the president, because she's even worse than he is, don't we want someone better? Why would we want to do this all over again?
Yep.
I want the best person. If it's going to be a Republican, I want the most logical, fair, unifying Republican that's going to listen to what liberals think and try and work with them and not just say the most divisive, dumb shit ever and only, want to make things worse between the two sides. Like Dan Crenshaw.
I know. It's
run for president, goddammit.
Yeah. I know it's not going to be easy, and I can almost promise you. Like I said, they're going to have to kill him because I don't think he's going to go away. I really don't. I can't imagine he would. Especially if he has to take his first L,
ever.
Yeah.
I've taken L's before, but this is a big L.
Yeah, I'm sure the guy's lost a few business dealings, but this guy is not accustomed to losing, and not on the world stage either.
We'll see what happens, man. Yeah. We'll see what happens. I'll be interested to watch a Trump concession speech because the guy's probably never conceded anything in his entire fucking life before, so I don't know how that's gonna.
It's probably gonna be filled. You're cool. Fuck you. You're cool. Fuck you.
He probably won't even go to an inauguration.
No.
He'll just leave.
Yeah, he'll do something. He'll do something to prove everybody right of how terrible the Orange Man is. That's where I think you'll see the real true of why everyone hates him come out.
Yeah. He'll rip all the telephone wires out of the walls in the White House.
Leave a fucking fat log in the toilet.
I was gonna say he'll fucking clog the toilets. He'll pour cement in the tub. Just so
the locks on your desk. He'll lock the Oval Office desk and just break the fucking key and walk on out.
I can see that.
Yep.
Yeah. Just carve his name into the desk.
Yep.
Something like that.
Oh, man. One of the funny things he did when he got into the White House, I remember, was there was a picture of Hillary Clinton somewhere, I believe. It was maybe Bill and Hillary. I don't know, but it was definitely the Clintons. And so you have the right to, if you want, redecorate. I want Theodore Roosevelt in this room, and I want Abraham Lincoln in this room. He took that picture and he put it in a room that hasn't been used in the White House for decades.
That don't surprise me.
No, I would do some stupid shit like that too.
I'm sure you would.
Oh yeah.
Let's get back to this just mess that the election is in general, and let's talk about my idea again versus some. My idea is that, look, this was a fucking disaster, right? That should be an apolitical statement, regardless if you're a liberal or Republican. Liberals are probably not going to say it's a disaster because they won, but this was a disaster. We need to spend the next 4 years fixing this process, right? 4 years is a long time. They could figure it out. They could figure out the election system and make it better in 4 years, in my opinion, right? I have, for a long time, said that they should move voting online. That doesn't mean that there shouldn't be in-person voting on Election Day. That doesn't mean that there can't be mail-in voting also. But we're in the 21st century now, right? The 21st
Needs
century.
to evolve.
Right. So I recently was going back and forth with a couple people on liberals, actually, on Facebook about this, telling them, why don't we move to online voting? We spend how many billions of dollars on the military every year? Let them design a website, a method, a system, a something. Spend the next 4 years designing it, implementing it, testing it, rolling it out. So by the time 2024 comes around, it is the best system. Everyone just downloads the app on their phone or goes to the website. You verify with whatever means they come by. The military's running defense of it, right? So that, hackers and foreign influences or whatever will have a hard time getting into it. I'm not saying it's impossible, but if anyone's going to do a good job or be able to block, threats, I think the military would be able to do it.
There's their whole cybersecurity part, yeah.
And people were telling me, there's going to be hackers. There's going to be fraud. So why do they not believe that there was fraud with the mail-in ballots, which is a fucking piece of paper I put in a box? The box sits there for a few days. Here comes a human being. He picks it up. Yeah. He walks into his truck. He drives down the road. He puts into another being with another bunch of human beings. They put it into another building with another bunch of human beings. At any moment, any random person could take your ballot and fling it out the fucking window. That's more secure than the military working on a project like that? Come on.
And we've seen numerous videos. People do your research because everybody loves coming to me with, where's all this fraud? Where's all this fraud? My Instagram feed is filled with ballot counters just going.
Yeah, I saw some of that stuff.
And throwing away every other Trump vote. Or maybe they were throwing away I don't know. I won't say who was they were throwing away.
It just looks weird.
But if you mean to tell me, to be honest with you, I think the military should have been counting the ballots as well. Right. So now to add on to your idea of this military cybersecurity online, voting, I'm going to go real Republican here, but I think now is the best time to put up this fight, voter ID, and add an RFI code to it or an RFI chip. So you have your ID, it's issued to you. And I don't want to hear this shit that IDs are racist. And I don't want to hear this shit that IDs can't be, aren't going to make it to the minority communities and the poor communities. I know plenty of people who live in minority communities, and they all have photo ID. I don't know too many people. I know illegal immigrants who have photo ID. Make it free. You could do it. If you could spend $700 billion on the military, you can make a free voter ID card and send it to everyone. The census is so important. You take the list from the census and you mail all those people their voter ID.
Yeah, I was going to say you bring it to them instead of, because people say voter ID is racist because people in a poor community don't have the means to go and get it.
Exactly.
Fair enough. Maybe they don't. Maybe they have to take a bus 100 miles or they don't have a car.
We bring it to you.
We bring it to you. We mail you the application, fill out all your information. We'll verify. We call you up. We do this. We do that. Yeah. You have 4 fucking years. They could be done.
With an RFI code. What is it? Code or chip?
Whatever. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But this way now, when your vote has been cast online, in person, your card, your ID has been checked, your code has been activated, and that's just another line of security. We have 2-step verification. We have military cyber intelligence overlooking this. It's got to evolve one way or another.
And I want that because I want to be sure when there's an election. I want to know who the fuck won, and I don't want
this to happen.
I don't want any indecision or debate about it. I want to know the day of the election. Yeah. And if you did it online, that's instant results. Yeah. Yes, we're still gonna have to wait for some shit to be counted in person, but at least you have a majority of it. And Democrats always say when people turn out to vote, Democrats win. That's a Democrat talking line, right? So if you gave everyone the ability to vote from your fucking phone, the easiest possible way, right? Doesn't that mean that more people are going to turn out? More people, because some people are lazy. We know a couple dudes who were way too lazy to go on election day and vote. They could have done it, but they were too lazy. If they just could have voted on their phone, they would have done it.
Yep.
So how many people like that are gonna vote? More people will vote. So doesn't that mean that Democrats would win theoretically? I don't know. But by that argument would lead you to believe that yes, they would. So Democrats should be championing this method, right? They should be championing online voting. We will see. We will see if that's going to happen.
Because I asked somebody who was a Democrat. I was like, "Are you happy that everyone was so in favor of mail-in voting? Because this is where we are now. You were so happy." I wanted to find the old clip from one of our old podcasts where we've been predicting a lot of this stuff. I said it a while back that, okay, Hillary lost. Who's next in line in the establishment? Joe Biden. Joe Biden will be your Democratic nominee. I was spot on. I said this from the start about mail-in ballots. It's just going to be a mess. Shocking. It was a fucking mess. If I could see this shit coming, whoever is coming up with these plans really needs to be brought out back and shot. Okay?
Either that or they know that it's going to be a mess, and they're counting on it being a mess so that they can influence things to go their way. You know what I mean? It's not impossible. Dude,
we know. So the thing that, really grinded my gears was for 4 years, you guys complained that Russia interfered in an election.
Oh, yeah.
And now the second that your guy won and there's glitches in the computer system and there's illegal acts happening in one state and one state's just going to keep counting ballots until, their nominee fucking gets more, What did I tell you about Georgia? They were just going to keep counting the ballots.
Yeah, he told me, he's like, watch, they're just going to keep counting until they get the result they want.
Yeah.
I get your point. At the same time, they should have counted all the ballots. But I get your point. It seems that way. It seems like it was inevitable. We're just going to keep going until we get the vote, and that's it. Declare him the winner.
They were at 96% for days.
That's why I agreed. Let this investigation, let these lawsuits play out. And if that wasn't the case, if it was the case that a lot of people legitimately did vote by mail, sent it in, was in on time, everything was done correctly, and that many more people voted for Joe Biden than Donald Trump, he's the president. And that's it. And,
I agree.
But let's 100% figure that out. Yeah. For the sake of our fucking our republic, our democracy.
It's amazing
we need to figure that out.
That Russia could fuck over the 2016 election, but this was a pure election.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but based on that rationalization, Russia could totally influence the outcome of the previous election. But we, within our own country, bad actors within our own country, could not influence the outcome of our own. I mean, that's such just a stupid mindset to have. Logic
and facts don't matter. It's just feelings. And I can't. If anything gets turned over, there is so many Democrats that I can't wait to talk to and say, "Aren't you glad you followed your feelings instead of logic?"
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because here you are, shit out of luck now because it gets overturned. You got to deal with Orange Man for 4 more years.
They're not, though. They're not going to follow logic in that moment.
No,
people are going to get angry. People are going to take to the streets. People are going to burn shit.
I completely agree, but I can't wait to talk to the people who aren't going to have the balls to actually go and riot and be like, remember when you told me I was crazy and that my guy should just quit because he's a big crybaby? Well, aren't you glad that you decided to follow the hate in your heart to choose who the next president is instead of actual logic, law, and facts?
Let's let the process play out and see what happens. Yeah, I agree. We'll see what happens if that's the case. Mm-hmm. What do you think's going on with? We were starting to talk about it a little bit before we came on about how Trump fired the Defense Secretary of Defense Mark Esper.
He's moving a lot of people around I don't know the names. He's moving a lot of people around in the Pentagon and changing the Department of Justice the Department of Defense and putting new people in different positions and stuff. I don't know why the Q message boards, the Anon boards have been lighting up because these have been names that Q has been talking about for years to keep an eye on and stuff. I don't know, but this is my new problem with Q. Like, election came and went, and there was all these messages and message boards blowing up and stuff, and nothing happened. And now tomorrow the Q clock ends at 11:11, and is the swamp going to be drained? No, it's not. You know what I mean? Like,
you keep telling me there's something coming on this day, and then that day comes, I'm like, that ain't happening. You're like, no, this keeps happening.
From now on, whenever I see a date, like tomorrow is supposed to be a significant date, I could promise you all nothing's going to happen tomorrow. But it is strange that, they said the National Guard would be activated. The National Guard's been activated. They said keep an eye on these guys.
They're not right at everything, but they're right sometimes. But I mean, if you say enough crazy shit too, sometimes you're going to be right.
Who's the guy?
I posted something before about the Secretary of Defense Mark Esper, and they were saying that he got fired because Trump is considering pulling out all the troops from Afghanistan. Why right now? Odd timing, Maybe Trump sees the writing on the wall, right? Look, this is a stretch, right? But maybe Trump sees the writing on the wall in his own mind. I'm not going to probably win. I have the ability to get the troops out of Afghanistan now in my last 2 months. I'm going to do it, right? Because I think that's probably the best, path for our country.
What if
that makes Trump out sound like a really nice guy? Yeah. But the rumors are he fired the Secretary of Defense because the guy was saying it was a premature withdrawal. How I posted this, right? How could it be a premature withdrawal? 19 years in this war. Listen, if we didn't win it yet, if we didn't fix all those people's problems yet, we're never going to fix it.
What are we doing there? If $700 billion a year, if that can't fix a problem and the sandbox on the other side of the planet, then nothing is.
Give me the $700 billion, I'll go over there and I'll see if I can fix
it. Please, I'd rather try myself.
We defeated the two biggest threats to this country ever in 4 years, right? Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan in 4 years.
Yep.
Right? We haven't defeated whatever the fuck we're fighting, terrorists or whatever in Afghanistan in 19 years. Come on. If you don't think that's just like a money laundering scheme.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, what if Trump sees the writing on the walls and he thinks he's not going to be, and now he is just doing whatever he can to give a final death strike to the fucking establishment? Because how bad would it look? He brings, January 1st, he brings all the troops home from Afghanistan. January 21st, Biden sends them right back.
Right.
That would, man.
Right.
He could really do some damage control like that.
Yeah, maybe. People say Trump likes to play 4D chess. Maybe.
I've seen it up to 60 now.
Maybe he's doing something like that, and he's trying to like play the progressives against Biden, right? Because if he were to bring home the soldiers from Afghanistan, and then Biden becomes president and he sends them back, AOC, Bernie, etc., are going to be livid. They're going to be like, "What? What do you mean? Why are you sending them back?" You're going to have strife, division as soon as the next administration takes over.
No Republicans in the Senate or the House are going to be in favor of that either.
Oh, Republicans will be in favor of sending.
Oh yeah, well, I guess just for more war money.
Yeah, Mitch McConnell, he's all in on war. So we'll see, man. We're about an hour in now. What do you think?
Yeah, if you want to call it, we're good, man. I mean, listen. Something tells me we're gonna still have plenty to talk about next week.
Like I said, we're gonna be holding Biden accountable as long as we can until they come to silence and censor all podcasts, anything that goes against the narrative, because that could possibly happen.
Yep.
Let me stress again, if you're still listening, please go to Joe Biden's website. Again, it's buildbackbetter.com. Go there, read it. This guy might be the next president. Go make your own determination, right? Because it's not after he becomes president, it's not going to be about the orange man anymore. It's going to be about this guy. And if you should hold him to the same standard as you hold the bad guy.
Yeah, and now just because your guy's in office doesn't mean your job is done by any means necessary. Like, this is the guy you picked. This is your country. You need to make sure he's going to run it the way he promised he was going to run it.
You need to care. We can't allow these career politicians, these establishment guys, to just come in, run business as usual, and then that's it. And then it's just the same shit over and over again.
Yeah, so my last point that I'll say from my notes before, and we'll sign off, was, so Joe Biden, real ballsy move here, already stated that on day one of his presidency, before he's even become the president-elect, he has 4 executive orders ready. Okay, first one, day one in office, rejoin the Paris Agreement. Now, I understand progressives, and I understand all, the people who, are for, want to solve climate change and stuff like that. You have to understand, that means day one, our taxes go back up. Everybody's been joking that, everybody's so upset that Biden's going to raise the taxes for people over $400K. Here's this dude who makes $3,500K. That's fine. The problem with that is if you start taxing the people who pay the people who make $3,500K, they're never getting another raise again. Secondly, if we rejoin the Paris Agreement, our taxes are going to go up. Let's see. Second part, rejoin the WHO, the World Health Organization. Already been proven that China has their hands deep up the WHO's ass. So we're going to start working with China again right off the bat. Let's see. Reinstating the Deferred Action of Childhood Arrival Program. Oh, this was the DACA.
Captain I wrote no clue what that is. I went in there and wrote DACA.
Yeah,
DACA.
That makes sense. Fine, you want to change that up.
I had no problem with that. That was a retarded battle that Trump had for no reason whatsoever.
But let's just point out the fact once again that Obama built those cages. and then repeal Trump's travel ban on majority Muslim nations.
Yeah.
Why?
This contradicts the pandemic travel restrictions.
Yes. Now, I have nothing against the Muslim religion. I have nothing against the people from the Middle East. I have friends who are Muslim, and they're probably some of the best people I've ever met in my entire life. To sound good and to sound not racist, does the pandemic not matter anymore? I don't. You know what I mean? Like, I have to tread lightly because I don't want to sound racist, and I truly have nothing against the Muslim nations and the Muslim religion. But you
don't sound. You're just trying to like think out loud.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So like, I know you're not a racist,
right? But like, so the pandemic doesn't matter then. Like, let's just let's bring everybody from China over too, because we don't want to be xenophobic, because that's what Trump is. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's the same playbook that the Democrats used in the beginning. Remember Pelosi saying, "Oh, he's being xenophobic, banning people from China, but there's no virus. There's come to Chinatown and eat and whatnot."
I mean, we're already talking about COVID, and you want to fix PPE, and you want more testing, and you want this next generation of testing to come out. But you want to open up our borders to these countries where I'm sure COVID is nowhere near under control the way it is. I won't even say here. We'll say in other countries that have been successful with dealing with it. Like, that makes no sense.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like, I feel like that last one was just thrown in to be like, I'm not a racist. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
Last point, Pelosi and Schumer, get them out of here, right? Yeah. Because they lost. They're in leadership positions in Democratic Party. All their establishment people lost. Progressives won. The Republicans gained a little bit of ground. Mm-hmm. There's no justification for Pelosi being in a leadership position anymore, nor Schumer. Nope. And pick somebody else.
And today she refused to denounce socialism. So good luck, Pelosi. Yep. I'm sure there's a bar wherever you're going to be. So anyway, thank you guys as always. Doom Nation, we appreciate you guys so much. As always, like, share, and follow. Please comment. We'd love to hear from you guys. Please interact with us. It's the few people that do, we really appreciate it. Even if you disagree with us, it's your opinion.
It's fine.
We get it.
We don't
know what I mean?
Anybody for disagreeing.
Exactly. That's why we have this podcast. So, as always, on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, it's at 2DoomMen. And on Instagram, it's at 2DoomMen_podcast. And you could hear us on, I don't think I've done this one in a while, Apple iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and YouTube and Amazon's podcast.
Amazon Music.
Yeah, Amazon Music. You can find us at 2DoomMen. We have a bunch of old shows that you guys could listen to. Our Halloween episode was pretty fun. I think we're going to do a Christmas one. And, we'll speak to you guys next week when I'm sure this shit show will just still be as shitty.
Yeah, we're going to try and turn episodes around quickly because news moves so fast now. We don't want, we make it tonight. If we don't get it out by tomorrow, everything might be old news.
Yeah.
So thanks, everybody. See you later.
Adios.